You know what? In this episode of Insecure, I am so sick of you, Issa. I'm about done with you, bitch. I really. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into this week's episode of Insecure, season 3, episode 3. And right now we just gonna jump into it. So we start off with Issa and Daniel in the bed, looking into basically each other's eyes and whatnot. Seeing how, because you remember last week episode, he was like, "You can sleep in my bed," so they both decided they were gonna start sleeping in the bed together. Yeah, because that was such a good idea to everybody. Never. So Issa basically, she up here talking about, I got a weak ass neck, and they switch pillows. He see that she got crumbs in the bed. He's like, "Really, Issa, you eating in the damn bed?" And she's like, "It is what it is. The heart wants what it wants." And he was like, "Okay, so what else the heart want?" And she look at him, and then they start kissing. I was like, how did we not know they was not gonna fuck? How did we not know this was gonna come? We knew once he agreed to letting her sleep in the bed with him, this was gonna happen. So she up here, he go down and he start eating your girl out. I'm like, okay. This is what we should have seen first episode, Issa. This is what we should have seen first episode. And then all of a sudden, we revert back to what really happened, because I was like, this bitch, she really had to be real. Issa, we did not want to go in your mind on that one. We really genuinely wanted that to be real. We were genuinely okay with this being real. So it's just funny that it won. So Issa snapped out of her mind, and instead she was like, nah, I want to get to work early. And then she just got out of bed. So if we remember in episode 2, Issa motioned to her boss that it's time for them to get, some more representation of black people in We Got Y'all. So they're at a job fair and they looking for new people to hire, specifically of color. Let me just say, Frida got on my nerves this episode. She get on my nerves regularly, but she got on my nerves even more. Who told Frida it was okay with using all these black slang words that she learned from all these black schools they've been going to? Slang? I'm like, come on, Frida. I was like, stop it, please, today. No one needs this. I don't know why you trying so hard, so stop. So, we basically taking a look, and, of course, Issa, as usual, she doesn't really care to be at her job. She really doesn't. You can tell she's really starting to get sick of it. In this episode, you see it even more, because it's this other group, and this group, they deal with kids and music, and that's really Issa's speed. If you remember in season 1, she tried this one time at school, at one of the schools that she was at with music. And that's, really when that's really when David got introduced into the series, season 1, to help her with this music thing with kids. So, we're coming right back along with it. And, of course, I'm thinking this would be the perfect job for Issa. She would actually give a fuck about going to work every day. She would actually give a fuck about getting up and, actually doing something for these kids if she was in the right organization to help with, youth or whatever. So moving on from that, she basically goes to talk to this dude that's over the organization with the kids that were dancing, and she basically asking more and more about it. I was like, she's slowly moving away from We Got Y'all, and that's what we've been wanting from season 1, because We Got Y'all has been on some shit since day 1, since she started Insecure. So it's just, nobody really sees her at We Got Y'all. We don't even know what the fuck she doing there anymore. Like, you ain't getting paid. You done got downgraded in your job. I don't see how the fuck that happened, seeing how they weren't paying that much the first place anyway. And, you know, it's just ridiculous. But, of course, Frida had to walk her ass over and destroy a whole fucking moment. So now, we're moving on to Molly. And Molly, she's making it at her new job. And basically, Molly, you know, surrounded with all these black people. You can kind of feel it in the air that it's going to happen. Molly, she going to be Molly. And she going to find something wrong with something. So, you know, at first, we all good. You know, she feeling the black love, fight the power, black people power, and all this type of shit like that. And then we move on. As the series goes on, we see the breakdown. Like, at first, they didn't have the type of shit that she had at the old job. They still have carriers to carry, you know, the stuff that they do. And, you know, they said that we have this time and that time and this time that they will come. And, you know, of course, Molly ain't with it. And she's like, okay. I was like, first strike for Molly. Second strike was when they used her office for storage. And she's like, well, at my old job, we would have just got such and such and such. Okay, and then everybody like, okay, but that's your other job. This ain't here. So then the third strike was when a certain person that was supposed to be in the meeting was not there. And of course she was like, you know, oh, so I guess we working on this black people time, you know, can't come in early. That was the third strike. And then I guess one of her co-workers got tired of it, because then they let her ass have it, click on her ass real quick. Like, so I guess, you know, at her old job, I guess they were on time. I was like, ooh, shade being thrown. Oops. Shh. You forgot where you was. You're no longer at a white firm. They speak their minds very much so. So I just feel like with Molly in this episode, she wants this to happen. She wants that to happen. And like, I didn't talk about when it was her, Kelly, and Tiffany, and Issa. They was all at the bar hanging out, you know, I guess doing their daily girl, you know, week when they come together and whatnot. And basically she was complaining about how, you know, it's just funny that I feel like I've been, you know, downgraded. Like, I thought this was a promotion. It don't feel like a promotion because, you know, we're so far behind on a lot of stuff. And she has to realize a lot of people are different with their firms. Every firm is not the same. If that was the case, then, you know, it wouldn't really be no need to go to any other firms, really. So, you know, Issa, she made a good point, and that's the first time for everything Issa make a good point on something. But she said, is it because that this is a black firm that you acting this way? And that's a truthful statement, because Molly is so used to being around white people, and she said it herself, this is the first time ever in any job that she's ever had where she's worked with completely nothing but black people. And that's just funny to me because, you know, they're almost 30-something, so that's flabbergasting to me. You've never worked with any black people. So, of course, she's going to stick her nose up. And Molly, she's what you would call a very stuck-up person and very uppity, is what we like to call some black people down here in the South. We like to call them uppity black people, which basically people that act white but have, you know, basically is black. So, you know, it's just crazy to me. She wants this and she wants that. And it's just not going to work that way because at the end of the day, everybody is different. So, we moving on to that and we get to Daniel. Now, Daniel, I thought we was past this with the whole pride thing, but I guess not. So, Daniel has a problem with, you know, people basically tweaking his music. I understand that you're a creative soul, and especially with creative people, they are very fickle about their shit and about people, you know, basically fucking their shit over. So, you know, he's up here making beats with Khalil, you know, they vibing and whatnot, you know, they hee and ha, but then it takes a turn when Khalil was like, you know, giving him some suggestions that, why don't you loop this, or why don't you put in drums, because Spider like drum. here's the difference between Khalid and Daniel. Here's the difference. The reason why Khalid is more successful and why, Daniel hasn't popped off yet. Khalid will more so do what the client wants and what, do for what the client likes. He knows what Spider likes. He knows what beats and whatever he wants his stuff to sound like. So I would, on this one, I'm gonna take Khalid's side. He knows what he's like. But of course, Daniel being so powerful and don't want to change shit about his music, I was like, you're just getting in your own way. And that's basically what Issa tried to explain to Daniel later on in the series, when he's basically, talking to her and they're having a little moment. And, basically he telling her this and that. And of course, Issa being supportive as always, trying to be supportive for him because he's always been supportive of her. So she's up here listening to him and she's trying to like, well, if you just get this down pat, basically, if you do this and this pops off, Spider gonna tell other people, and then other people gonna tell other people, and then eventually when you get to the state where you can really do your own shit, and basically, you won't have to worry about people changing your shit, then you can worry about that. But for now, we're trying to get your shit picked off the ground right now. We're not talking about, later. We're talking about right now. You need the money now. You want your shit to pop off now. Therefore, this was an opportunity for that to happen. And the fact that Khalid gave you that opportunity, he didn't have to. He did not have to speak for Daniel. He did not have to go for the back for Daniel. He didn't have to ask Daniel for shit. But because that was his homeboy, because, they kicked it back in the day, because Daniel had showed him this and that, and the reason why he's so successful today, he was like, basically almost paying homage to him to help him out. But the thing is, Khalid had that whole look when they was in the studio and Spider came and sat down, and Daniel purposely played what he had made first, and then then played the one that him and Khalid did together. This is the thing though, what people don't understand, time is money, and you're wasting time, and the artist doesn't know what beat to pick. So therefore, you gotta make extra time to make a whole nother beat because he can't pick between the two. So that's what the thing Khalid was on trying to get at, and he was trying to show Daniel that, but Daniel didn't want to see it because he's too prideful in his shit. So Khalid just having that look like, niggas. See, you try to help niggas and you see what niggas do. This is why I can't help niggas. So we move on from that. Issa takes a look at, the apartment. And it's a lot going on. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how Issa gonna put it off. She already struggling her daily life. I don't know why you would want to add an extra to that. I can understand that, she's trying to get out of Daniel's place, even though she doesn't have to, because he said specifically she didn't have to leave. He likes her being there. So, I just like, I don't know too many other people that's going to put up with Issa, and the shit that she does. And yeah, I think it's better for her to be on her own. But, I can understand from her point of view of her trying to be independent and not trying to really ask too many people more for what already they done gave you. But at the same time, it's like, bitch, you gonna make it harder on yourself. Because this man literally said that even though it's part-time, you still have to be on call. That means if you were at your job, we got y'all, and you were in the office or a meeting, that means if he calls you, you fucking come right then and there. It ain't no, let's think about it. It ain't gonna like, well, I'll do it later. It's gonna be right then and there. So, I just feel like, and with the whole, her friends telling her like, no, bitch, don't stay with Daniel, because that was this whole series. She was debating whether or not to stay at Daniel's place because he generally said she didn't have to leave, or to basically move in on her own. And her friends was like, no, Because, you know, at the same time, you can kind of see it from point of view. Literally, I don't think Issa has ever lived on her own until her and Lawrence had broke up last season. But I generally have not heard of her living on her own. I think she's generally always lived with somebody. So I guess they want her to be independent on her own and see what she can do by herself. But at the same time, none of these bitches can talk, because their relationships ain't never been successful out of this whole series. None of them. Not even Tiffany, and she pregnant, but she don't know who the baby daddy is. I wonder when we gonna get to that. Because last season they touched up on it, but they ain't really say nothing about it. So moving on to that, Daniel and Issa have an argument. And the argument was basically this. Issa basically was hearing Daniel out. She took him out, you know, to show him some appreciation for him doing everything he's been doing for her. And then Daniel, he starts talking about the what's going. I mean, I hate it when people up here act like they don't want to talk about their promise, but they generally really do. And that's what he was doing, because he knew she was going to ask, like, what's wrong? It's nothing. No, what's wrong? Well, since you asked. That's basically how I felt. It's like, Daniel, I don't know why you keep doing this shit. Like, seriously. The thing with it is, Daniel has a whole nother reason why he wants Issa to stay with him in his apartment. And I think he genuinely feels like if she gets her own place, she's not gonna need him anymore again, and she's gonna distance herself from him, and then he doesn't want to lose her again and end up getting heartbroken again when he felt like, you know, basically he was getting over her. That was never gonna happen. You let the bitch stay in your place. So it was never gonna happen the first time when you did it. So he basically talking about this and this and that. And, you know, Issa, she saw it from Cleve's point of view. That's disrespectful as hell. I bring you on, and then you purposely play what I told you not to play, because I told you the artist, he, even though it's good, it's not that he's gonna use it really. Like, he likes this and he likes that in his music, and he likes his voice to be over this beat and that, and you just purposely did the opposite of that. So she's like, so you're not gonna apologize? And he was like, you know, it's real funny that you getting all bold and talking out when you don't even know what the fuck you doing. You are apartment manager. You at We Got Y'all. You a Lyft driver, bitch. What do you want to do? You don't even care about your job. And I was like, ooh, that is a sore subject. It's not like everybody didn't call that shit, but that is a sore subject. I was like, ooh, y'all both just jabbing each other in the ribs right now. We get home, and I literally thought that this was going to be angry sex, because, you know, let's just fuck it out. But no, that's not what it is. He up here saying, I'm sorry, you know, I just said that because I was mad at Khalid and this and that. Well, generally, when people say what they say when they angry, they be truthfully meaning that shit deep down. They want to say it, but they wait until they mad enough to say that shit to really hurt you. I hate when people do that shit. It's like, bitch, you could have been said this, but you've been holding this shit for a while. No, thank you. I don't need this. So, and he up here kissing on her and this and that, and then he making his way down. I was like, please tell me Issa not dreaming this shit again, because I swear to God I'll go off if she dreaming this shit up again. And she's not dreaming it. It's actually happened. And she was like, you know what? No. It just doesn't feel right. I can understand where she came from on that point of view, because we just generally had a fucking fight. You know, you fucking me is not going to change the fact that you said what you said. That's not going to change it. It just don't feel right to do this, because then you think by fucking me, I'm going to just forget everything you said, and then I'm going to just hoopla and just go along with it, and it's just not going to happen. But for this episode, for Insecure, it was pretty chill. It was pretty laid back, and wasn't really too much going on. We just touching bases on a lot of stuff, or putting more stuff in, you know, microscopic detail. in this episode. That's what it felt like. But either or, y'all tell me how y'all feel about this episode. And, you know, comment down below if I forgot anything. And then also, y'all still have not gave me ideas nor commented whether or not y'all want me to, you know, do other shows, or if y'all want me to react to different stuff. But either or, I'll see y'all next week.